Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the mind of the legendary filmmaker David Lynch, but we're not talking about his movies. No, we're going to explore his really profound explanation of transcendental meditation, and he uses these incredibly simple analogies to map out a journey deep into consciousness itself. So, where does David Lynch start with a huge topic like this? With a donut. Seriously, he kicks things off with this super simple idea: there are some things you just have to experience to really get it. And trust me, he's talking about something way, way sweeter than a donut. So yeah, a taste of bliss. This is what it's all about. What exactly is this sweetest nectar of life that he's talking about? And, the big question is, how do you actually get there? How do you experience it? Okay, so before we can go on this journey, we're going to need a map, right? And this is where Lynch's explanation gets really, really cool. He gives us what he calls a map of reality. And he does it by drawing this amazing parallel between exploring the outside world of matter and the inner world of the mind. So check this out. It's super simple, but really profound. You've got matter on one side and mind on the other. And Lynch's whole point is this. You know how scientists have been digging deeper and deeper and deeper into the fabric of physical reality? Well, he says we can do the exact same thing with our own consciousness. Let's just follow that scientific dive for a second. For the longest time, all we saw was the surface of things. Wood, metal, the obvious stuff. But then we started digging. We found molecules. Okay, cool. But what are they made of? Atoms. Then we cracked open the atom and found this whole other universe inside. Protons, neutrons, electrons. It's this incredible journey, just going smaller and smaller and smaller. And what's wild is that as they went deeper, something else started happening. All the separate forces of nature, they started to merge together. You had 4 fundamental forces, then physicists realized, wait a minute, those are actually just 2. And then, at the very, very bottom, just 1. And that one single thing, that's what quantum physics calls the unified field. Now get this, Lynch explains it as a field of nothing. It's not empty, it's pure potential. It's this unmanifest source from which every single thing in the universe comes into existence. It's basically the source code for all of reality. Okay, so that's the story for matter. But how in the world do we get there? How do we access that same fundamental field in our own consciousness? Well, Lynch says the vehicle for this trip, it's not a rocket ship. It's an internal technique, something that lets you turn your attention around and go inward. And the specific tool for this inner dive? It's a mantra. Now, in Transcendental Meditation, this isn't just some random word you pick. It's a very specific sound, a specific thought, that Lynch calls the key that opens the door. Its whole job is to just gently turn your awareness 180 degrees, away from the outside world and point it inward. And here's what's so incredible about this whole process, and Lynch really stresses this point. It's not hard work. You don't have to force anything. The dive is totally, completely natural. And the reason is simple. Our minds are designed to seek happiness, and every deeper level of your own mind, well, it's just more blissful. So your mind wants to go there. It's naturally drawn to it. So you're following this current of happiness deeper and deeper inside. And then you get to the very edge of thinking, the absolute borderline of the intellect. And right there, you transcend. That's the key word. You go beyond thought, beyond all the divisions and duality of the everyday world, and you experience that field of oneness directly. All right, so you've had this experience. You've transcended. So what? What happens now? Well, this is where you really start unfolding your potential. Lynch describes it as a total, fundamental transformation, and it happens from the inside out. When you dip into that unified field, you're not finding some big, empty void. No way. You're actually waking up all these incredible qualities that are already inside you. Think about it. Infinite creativity, intelligence, energy, love, power, bliss, all that stuff, Lynch says, has always been there, at your very core. You're just finally accessing it. He's got another great, simple metaphor for this. Just picture your own consciousness as a ball. Most of us probably think it's a fixed size, and that's that. But when you keep dipping into that unbounded, unified field, that ball of consciousness actually starts to expand. Little by little, day by day, it just gets bigger. And what happens when that ball of light gets bigger? Well, there's this amazing side effect. All the junk, all the negativity, the stress, the anxiety, the sorrow, depression, anger, fear, it all just starts to fade away. It recedes. Lynch's point is that negativity is like darkness. You don't get rid of darkness by fighting it. You just have to turn on the light. And that growing consciousness is the light. And I love how he frames this. He says negativity is literally mind control. And think about it. He's right. When you're angry, anger is controlling your mind. When you're depressed, depression is running the show. So this isn't just about feeling better. It's about taking back control of your own mind from the things that hold you back. Now you might be thinking, does this just make you all blissed out and lazy? Absolutely not. It's the total opposite. Lynch argues you actually get more energy, more enjoyment out of everything you do. It's like the pipe that creative ideas flow through, it gets unclogged. The negativity that was cramping it up is just gone, and the ideas just flow. Okay, this is huge for the individual, but here's where Lynch takes it to a whole other level. He says this isn't just an internal thing. This individual change creates a ripple effect of peace that can actually change the entire world. And he points to this wild phenomenon. There's a theory that says you don't need everyone in a city to be meditating to change things. You just need the square root of 1% of the population meditating together to create a measurable, peaceful effect on everybody else. It's a tiny number, but the effect is supposedly huge. So you're probably asking, how on earth is that possible? Well, he uses another physics analogy. It's called constructive interference. Imagine you have two loudspeakers. Each has a certain volume. But if you put them together just right, their sound waves amplify each other, and you get the power of 4 speakers, not 2. It's a squared effect. He's saying the same thing happens with a group in meditation. Their influence isn't just added together, it's multiplied quadratically. Here's another way to think about it. Every human being is like a light bulb. When you have that inner experience of consciousness, you're not just keeping that light to yourself. You can't help but radiate it out into the world around you. So when you get a whole group of people doing this together, man, you've got a powerhouse. They're just radiating this powerful field of peace and coherence out into the whole environment. And what's the end game of all this? Where does it ultimately lead? Well, it leads to a point where your awareness is so expanded, your sense of connection is so deep, that you literally could not hurt another human being. It would be impossible. Why? Because it would feel exactly like hurting yourself. And that, right there, is the foundation for real, lasting peace. It's not about fighting wars. It's not about defeating an enemy. It's about radiating a light of unity so strong that it literally dissolves the hate in the enemy. The enmity just disappears. And when that's gone, there is no more enemy. So that's where he leaves us. David Lynch isn't talking about some lofty, far-off dream here. He's presenting this as a practical tool, a technology for real change, for you and for the world. And it leaves you with this incredible, provocative question. What if the real key to creating a more peaceful world isn't out there at all? What if it's found in that deep, internal connection to our own unified self?